How much are we making right now?
I honestly don't know the yearly. I haven't done the math on it yet because it hasn't been a year for me yet.
Yearly? I don't. This is like how much you. What do you mean? Are you hourly?
I'm hourly.
What's your hourly?
19 an hour.
Okay. How many hours a week do you work?
Guaranteed 80, but it's usually more.
80 a week.
Well, sorry. No.
Yeah, that would be aggressive.
I'm usually working anywhere from 60 to 65 hours a week.
Okay. How much do you think came in through payroll in the last month?
I could actually look and tell you.
No, because I have the number.
You have that.
I want to see how much you know about your financial situation. So I think you don't budget, because you would need to know what number is coming in to budget.
Okay, that was a doozy. How do you not know your salary? Like, that number is pretty important. It's the whole reason you're showing up to work every day.
We're going to go on a cruise next month.
No, you're not.
And
No,
so-
you're not.
My dad paid for the tickets, and he's like, yeah, you can just pay me back. So
That's not your dad paying for the tickets. That's not your dad paying for the tickets. That's you borrowing money from your dad.
Yeah. And, yeah, so it's...
So you're not in a salaried position with like paid time off. You're not in a part-time job that offers paid time off. On this cruise, you're just not going to be working. You're not going to be making any kind of income. Girl, you can't afford to go on this cruise.
That's why I'm trying to at least hurry up and get a part-time job starting next week, if I can.
How long is the cruise?
It's I think it's 13th to the 17th. So it's like from a
It's a
Thursday.
4-day cruise?
Okay, that's probably wrong. It's a Thursday to a Wednesday, but it starts on the 13th.
It's a 6-day cruise.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have a week off of work.
So I'm just going to be working, try to work as much as I can, get back on. I signed up for Uber Eats. So I'm going to try to work on driving for that because DoorDash wasn't making any money.
Money owed to a friend.
Yes.
For what? $200.
So I do kind of pet portraits on the side. And so she
You do?
had, yes.
Okay.
But that hasn't been making any money because people weren't, I mean, I also am terrible at marketing myself. So I have someone else marketing for me and that hasn't gone well. So she had placed an order and then she's like, well, actually I don't have the animal anymore for her situation. So she's like,
Well, how do you owe $200 to a friend?
She paid in advance, even though I did not want to accept it. She was like, no, I just want to pay it so I can get out of the way. So she sent me the money.
Oh, so it's like a refund?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, can we just hold on a darn second? $150,000 in debt at 24? Oh, that sounds pretty serious. While cruises can be fun, they're not exactly the most, let's say, budget-friendly way to spend your money, especially if you're already in a huge financial hole. Look, I get it. Taking a break and traveling can be tempting, but, maybe there are better ways to approach this, instead of working multiple jobs to fund one vacation while you're already in debt. How about using the money from those multiple jobs towards paying down that debt and scaling it down before you start doing these things? Trust me, future you will thank you for prioritizing getting out of this debt over a, 6-day temporary vacation. I get it. Memories are important. Having fun is important even while owing money or having large debt. But, there'll be plenty of time for cruises later. And I got to say, I'm with this guy on this. It's not her dad paying for it. It's her dad giving her a loan for it, which just means more debt stacked towards the 150 grand. It's digging yourself into an even deeper hole before your life has even really started. It's really not the way to go, man. 24, 150 grand in debt. That's not good. If anybody else is in this age range and in this position, please, I implore you, do not go on cruises. I beg.
I was in major credit card debt, about $62,000 to my credit card. And this was when I was working 9 to 5. I was so living above my means. I was driving the cars that I couldn't afford. I was buying the things that I couldn't afford. And I would just put it on a credit card because I thought it was like free money. Absolutely no idea what it meant by budgeting, financial means, saving for the future. All of that just went out my head. And while I was in college, I was so confused. I was racking up all of these student loans debt. And I just thought, oh, future me can worry about it. This resulted me in depression, anxiety, and towards my 20s, I had to rebuild this entire life around money and heal my money traumas. I found myself that I dug a really big hole and I had no idea how to get out of it. So the first thing I thought was hire a mentor, get in more debt, but at least this expert mentor can tell me what to do so I can get out of this place faster. The only way to get out of debt is truly make more money. When you make more money, you can cover up the principal and the interest, and you can pay off your debt faster before it starts accumulating and taking over your entire life. I created a budget where I was able to pay off this debt in less than 8 months. Finally felt like I could cut off my credit card again and not be in this cycle of hell. So many of you guys are probably not in credit card debt like I was, because you guys are all way smarter than me. But if you are, you know the exact feeling of feeling pressure. Every single dollar that goes out of your bank account or every single thing that you're about to buy, you feel like, oh, this like world on your shoulders that you don't know what to do, how to get out. And trust me, that feeling gets worse as your debt increases. So the best thing to do is really sit down and stick and commit to a plan so that you can get out of this debt, so you can start living a better life in the future and make the right steps. Don't shame yourself for not having the education or financial knowledge, because nobody teaches us this, and my parents definitely did not talk about money or teach me about money. They just kind of were like, here, go to college and learn everything by yourself. And it's no one to blame but ourselves. So all we can do is fix these mistakes and then try to be better.
Commendable. You know, I completely agree with everything she said here. It's good that she is self-aware enough and has acknowledged that, you know, she was in that position where she was just kind of spending willy-nilly. And but props to her. She realized the issue with it, took the right steps to start to get out of that, and is sharing her views with, I bet, a ton of other people who are dealing with the same thing, who haven't had that self-awareness or that realization that they need to get out of it, and what they have to figure out what the necessary steps are to get out of it. Good on her for hiring a mentor to teach her how to get out of it. You know, it is a small extra dent in her debt, but she will hopefully eventually learn what she has to do to get out of that. And it all boils down to her main point, which is fairly simple, I would say. And I'm pretty sure everyone would know this answer. And it is just make more money. I know it's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, that's literally all it is. And in making more money, once you start making more money, it's about managing those finances and not making the silly purchases and living above your means like you did before that got you into the debt in the first place. So key takeaways are, one, obviously, get out of crazy debt, make more money. It's as simple as that. But again, easier said than done. And two, live below your means. You know, like say if you earn $5,000, treat it like you earn 2.5 to 3 grand a month, because all that other money can either go to saving. I mean, a chunk of that already goes to bills, living expenses and whatnot, and the rest chuck it into savings. So whatever you earn monthly, assume that you earn much less than that, because that is the key and that is the way to build a healthy savings that could potentially as well help you out with debts if you have any debts. So yeah, I agree with everything she said. Most people haven't had their parents teach them these things. The lucky ones do, but for a lot of us, we never got that. And it is a trial by fire thing. It is a trial and error thing. So at the end of the day, if you can hold yourself accountable, take the steps you need to, and be self-aware about it, then you're on the right track like she is. So all there is to it.
I have a question. How much credit card debt are you in? Because for context, I'm 26, I've been working since 17, paying for my own shit, moved out at 18, have been independent ever since. And I have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. And I will be the first to admit that I'm not perfect. I've definitely paid off medical bills and like emergency vet visits and things on my credit card, but I've also bought a lot of dumb shit. But it's like people my age have $55,000 worth of credit card debt. Do you see how my eye's twitching? That shit stresses me out. Like $55,000 is my take-home salary from my last job. Like, I think I'm just morbidly curious on like what gets you to the point of $55,000 worth of credit card debt. Also, who gave you $55,000 worth of credit in general? Like, not to mention, my credit usage, way high, like 90-something%. So my interest rates, 30%. Like, the interest would make me want to throw up.
Well, for starters, credit card debt, you know, it can be a real monster if you don't keep it in check. You know, while it is tempting to just swipe, and worry about it later, trust me, that later comes sooner than you think it will. Let me tell you, not fun. You know, high credit card debt can really impact your ability to save for things that you actually need, like a house or car. And, you know, it obviously also affects your credit score, which can make it harder to get loans in the future, which most people, if not everyone, would need, except the 1%. And, I'm completely with her on this. How does one even get into that much credit card debt? It's baffling to me. Look, I get it. Tough situations, tough spots, and rainy days and whatnot. But man, don't even get me started. Like, don't even get started onto this path, let alone allow yourself to be in 55 grand in debt. Your future self will be very grateful if you don't get down that path in the first place. So just pay off your credit card bills on time. Again, goes back to the previous video. Don't live above your means. Don't buy crazy stuff because, look, at the end of the day, materialistic items are tempting. Trust me, I deal with that as well. But you got to be self-aware and you got to keep yourself in check and you got to check yourself and be like, hey, do I really need this right now? Maybe have a savings plan for it. Save up a certain amount each month to get to that goal. And getting that thing would be infinitely more rewarding when you do that rather than just getting credit card debt, having the thing, and then feeling the burden of the debt later. So yeah, just goes back to my previous comments about the previous video about not living above your means. And you do that, it is the simplest way to not get racked up with $55,000 in credit card debt. Well, that is a lot of zeros.
Credit one, the most evil of all cards.
Yeah, I need to get rid of that card.
You need to get rid of all these cards. How are they not closed? How are they not closed? How are they not closed? Why haven't you closed them? You're not a credit card person. How have you not closed them? Close your accounts.
Isn't it bad to close it? You lose your credit history and stuff, right?
You are not taking advantage of credit. Credit is taking advantage of you. What's the possible point? What credit are you taking advantage of?
Whatever I have.
It's bending you over. You are not taking advantage of it.
I wouldn't say that.
Have you seen those fees? Did we just talk about those
I don't know what
fees?
the fees are about, but yeah.
If you don't even know, you're not a credit card person. So then we close them.
If you're not taking advantage of credit, like the guy in the video says, then there's really no point to even having credit cards and a credit score or credit history. Because yeah, at that point, the credit is taking advantage of you. If you're not taking advantage of its perks and whatnot, then really what's the point of even saying, I need my credit score, I need my credit history, when all it's doing is being detrimental to you and your lifestyle and your financial status. So if you're like the guy in the video, cancel your credit cards maybe, and then hop back on them when you're more secure, you're more financially aware, and you got your finances on lock and that you can actually handle it and take advantage of its perks. Because if you don't, then what are you doing?
I don't know why, but someone told me 20K is like the minimum to have saved in your savings account or your high yield savings account. Again, like, what is that? Should I get one of those? Everyone says you should get one of those. Anyways, $20,000, like your buffer, what you should have. It probably used to be less, but it's 2024, so And then I do want to save for a house at some point, and then if I'm going to Europe, we need to save for Europe. But yeah, the baseline being 20K, just always having that. That's my goal to get to, and then saving on top of that for travel or, a house eventually, things like that. It is crazy to think though that other generations could get a house with their one job. That's just so different now.
Okay, comments on this one. There isn't a one size fits all answer on how much to save, because some people are aiming for $20,000 while others say, it's more about having around 6 to 9 months of living expenses saved up. So, truth is, it really depends on your lifestyle and your life goals. For some people, $20,000 might feel like $1 million, right? And that's awesome. It means they wouldn't have to worry about everyday bills, and they could focus on what they really want to do. On the other hand, other folks might need a bigger safety net. Maybe they have a family to support or a more expensive lifestyle that they have to keep up with. And having 6 to 9 months of living expenses saved up could give them peace of mind and freedom to make choices about their work or their future. So it is pretty crazy how far 20 grand went back in the day, but it is what it is. We live in this time, so sucks to say, but all we can do is really to adapt or drown, because we live in the financial state of the world that we're currently in. There's no two ways about it. There's not much we as individuals can do to impact the entire market and the GDP of our country, for example. So again, yeah, all we got to do is adapt, save up how much we need to, be as comfortable as we can. Again, important point of this video, live below your means, be smart about it, and you should be fine. So 20 grand might be way more than enough for you. It really depends on what kind of life you want to lead, and that's really up to you. Who am I to judge?